So these people were traveling and they found some Jewish people.
Right now, we would not like supporting. To be harassed on here. I'm not harassing you.
Okay,
I
fine.
don't know if you mean.
I'll talk. What am I supporting? What am I supporting?
I don't want to death
you're talking.
That sign,
we know what we're wearing.
What that means.
We know what we're wearing.
You won't even show your fucking face. Is there
Show
a
my
reason
face.
to?
I'm not hiding. I'm right here.
Now we know who you are.
My love, I'm not hiding.
Do you actually know what you mean? Palestine would be free.
Palestine will be free. I promise you. Palestine will be free.
Yeah, I wish you said from Gaza.
Gaza was actually free and given.
You guys are terrorist supporters on Gaza.
You are terrorist supporters.
You're a terrorist supporter.
Yeah, people from Gaza came and killed a whole bunch of people in Israel. That's what they mean.
Free, free Palestine!
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 I really hope that you can
I don't think that lady is on the same team, but hey, we have to be empathetic just in case.
From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
If you're still here, let me know if you feel a little harassed.
From the river to the sea! You heard that? Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free!
Palestine can be free!
Free,
You guys are terrorists! Palestine!
You're telling me that you can see the difference between somebody that is not in that country but can understand why they're trying to defend their country? You already tell them you are freaking killers and we need to exterminate them. The moment you normalize, I'm like, people, you have no idea what you're playing with.
Palestine!
Look at her trying to justify. I didn't mean it. Like, lady.
You genocide supporter!
You're gonna get fired from your job because it's gonna go viral.
How did we freaking get here? Oh, I know.
At MIT, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate MIT's code of conduct or rules regarding bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
If targeted at individuals, not making public statements.
Yes or no? Calling for the genocide of Jews does not constitute bullying and harassment?
I have not heard calling for the genocide for Jews on our campus.
But you've heard chants for intifada.
I've heard chants, which can be anti-Semitic depending on the context, when calling for the elimination of the Jewish people.
What?
So those would not be according to the MIT's code of conduct or rules?
That would be investigated as harassment if pervasive and severe.
Strike?
Ms. McGill, at Penn, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Penn's rules or code of conduct? Yes or no?
If the speech turns into conduct, it can be harassment, yes.
I am asking specifically calling for the genocide of Jews. Does that constitute bullying or harassment?
If it is directed and severe or pervasive, it is harassment.
So the answer is yes.
It is a context-dependent decision, Congresswoman.
It's a context-dependent decision. That's your testimony today. Calling for the genocide of Jews is depending upon the context. That is not bullying or harassment. This is the easiest question to answer yes, Ms. McGill.
It is a context-dependent decision, Congresswoman.
So is your testimony that you will not answer yes?
If it if the
Yes
speech
or no?
becomes if the speech becomes conduct, it can be harassment. Yes.
Conduct meaning committing the act of genocide? The speech is not harassment?
You're gonna love my nuts. Watch this. You can do everything in the cover. It's so easy, one finger.
This is unacceptable, Ms. McGill. I'm going to give you one more opportunity for the world to see your answer. Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Penn's code of conduct when it comes to bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
It can be harassment.
The answer is yes. And Dr. Gay, at Harvard,
What do you mean by that?
You're just telling me it's not targeted harassment until somebody passes away, even by their own attention or by the attention of the people saying it. In other words, all the Jewish people have to be chippity cheap cheap, then they're a targeted race. Protected class, my apologies, to be correct. And that's the only way you will save them, right?
does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
It can be, depending on the context.
What's the context?
Targeted as an individual, at an individual.
It's
Severe
targeted at
pervasive.
Jewish students, Jewish individuals. Do you understand your testimony is dehumanizing them? Do you understand that dehumanization is part of anti-Semitism? I will ask you one more time. Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
Anti-Semitic rhetoric. When
And is it
crosses into
anti-Semitic rhetoric?
Anti-Semitic rhetoric, when it crosses into conduct that amounts to bullying, harassment, intimidation, that is actionable conduct, and we do take action.
So the answer is yes, that calling for the genocide of Jews violates Harvard Code of Conduct, correct?
Again, it depends on the context.
It does not depend on the context. The answer is yes, and this is why you should resign. These are unacceptable answers across the board.
Let's ask a student, believe all women. Where's that energy?
Being a Jew at NYU is being surrounded by students and faculty who support the murder and kidnapping of Jews because, after all, as they say, resistance is justified when people are occupied. It is being surrounded by social justice warriors and self-proclaimed feminists whose calls for justice end abruptly when the rape victims are Jews.
Slay!
Being a Jew at NYU has meant being physically assaulted in NYU's library by a fellow student while I was wearing an American-Israeli flag. Being a Jew at NYU is experiencing how diversity, equity, and inclusion is not a value that NYU extends to its Jewish students. Since October 7th, the unmistakable anti-Semitism that I've experienced on campus is reminiscent of the Jew hatred I've heard about from my grandparents, Holocaust survivors, who experienced firsthand the deafening silence of their neighbors in Poland and Germany when the Nazis first rose to power. As anti-Semitic rhetoric and actions became more and more acceptable, their communities' shops were looted, their synagogues defaced, and finally, their families were taken away and perished in concentration camps. Today, in 2023, at NYU, I hear calls to gas the Jews, and I am told that Hitler was right. To the NYU administration, you are not free to selectively enforce your own rules. You are not free to refuse your Jewish students the same protections that you extend to others. NYU has adopted the International Holocaust Remembrance Association's definition of anti-Semitism, which recognizes that calls to harm Jews in the name of radical ideology, calls to eradicate Israel, to deny the Jewish people their right to self-determination in their ancestral homeland is anti-Semitism that is punishable under NYU's Code of Conduct.
You're gonna get fired from your job?
I am a proud Jew, and I am a proud Zionist. I am the granddaughter of Holocaust survivors. We are not going anywhere. Anti-Semitism and the support for terror should have no home at NYU or any other college campus. We made the promise of never again, and never again is now.
I'm not supporting Palestine. I'm not supporting Israel. I just don't want any war, and I just want people to live peacefully. Okay? That's it. But if you keep pushing this narrative, it won't surprise me. Wait, you know what? Before I say this, like, share the video, bada beam, bada boom. Because there are certain things I can't say, because maybe it's targeted harassment.
Stop! You violated the law.